Hello and welcome to another fanfiction review. It is I, Dark777, and I'm actually at my friend's house right now because I wanted to hang out, and she said I could do a video here if I wanted to, and I decided yes. As always, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, your opinion on the story itself, and the story itself will be in the description. Now, when I first started reading fanfiction, I generally kind of went towards like fandoms that I was more familiar with. Now I'm more or less just going to whichever one catches my fancy, and I just and especially if someone recommends a story, which I still would recommend. Honestly, ask. I only did one recommendation story so far. I want more because I want to see people's ideas and look at them and tell them what they think and everything. But I don't know. So of course I gravitated towards Castlevania, Mega Man, um, a big O. More the only anime I'm interested in right now is Monster Musume. But but I mostly stuck around the Mario, Castlevania, and and the Danny Phantom stuff. And I'm more branching out now. Um, but one of my favorite fan fictions from Mario was called The Mysterious Scent. That's the story I'm reviewing today. It's written by Mushroom Scribe, and it's a very, very interesting read. It's far from a bad story. But when I think, and it would probably be if I made a top 5 favorite Mario fan fictions, it would easily be in the top. It'd be on that 5. Maybe more obvious if I do a top 10. It'll be on the top 10 easily. Top 5 maybe because I know Better Off Alone, Mario, Luigi, and Bowser, and Kingdom Beyond Midnight are probably 1, 2, and 3 in that order. And what I like about Mysterious is just like Kingdom Beyond Midnight. This is probably going to be the only reference. Is it takes a weird pairing, a weird idea, and kind of makes it incredibly good. Kingdom Beyond Midnight had Mario and Vivian. You don't know who Vivian is? Go play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. She's the Shadow Center. This story is a romance between Mario and I'm not joking, Wendy Koopa, Bowser's daughter. Ta-da! And I really do like the story because it plays on so much. It's actually pretty top. It's actually a pretty topical story now with the whole segregation. With Donald Trump being president, I almost said segregation for some reason, but no, that's not doing segregation anymore. Why would I even say that? So let's get started. So the plot is Mario is locked behind bars. Good start to a story, and then he gets a note with the key attached to it, letting him go, with saying that, "Oh, I need your help. Meet me in like a little office in the Pipe Central." And so he discusses it with Luigi, and says, "I'll risk it. I'll get some powers and go." And then she goes, finds out it's Wendy. Wendy in this universe, Wendy is pretty much the only. The younger ones are kind of same, but the older ones past her are more disastrous, more like Bowser and like the really psychotic, crazy, more bad influences than anything. Wendy and her Iggy, and is it Lenny or Lemmy? I always got confused with which one was the little one with the I think the one with the ball. Yeah, the one that wrote on the ball. I can't remember. I never figured out if his name was Lenny or Lemmy. Leave a comment in the comment section or on which one it is, or maybe I'll just look it up. I don't know. But at that point in time, it's just Wendy wanting to get out and wanting to be away from Bowser's abusiveness, because in this story he's really abusive, likes to drink, likes to smack kids. You know, he's a typical abusive parent. But that's only really brought up like twice. So, but the main bulk of the story comes with the fact that Mario, being the good person he is, decides to take Wendy. It's like, okay, we have Mario doing good. Nice. He's a really nice guy because he's a Mario. But nobody really trusts her. Not a single Toad trusts Wendy because she wants to redeem herself. She wants to go on this redemption, but none of the Toads are actually giving her any of the time of day because she's a Koopa. Therefore, she's automatically evil. Doesn't matter what Mario does. I mean, doesn't matter if Mario. Oh, she's good. She's just wanted. She just had to get. She just wanted to be normal. But none of the Toads are buying it, and they really, really don't like her. So they actually attack her. They accuse her all these crimes just so they can get her out of the town. And Mario's pissed off. Wendy is like scared, and so they go to Yoshi's Island, where the plot picks up with Wendy and Mario slowly following falling in love. My bad. Falling in love, and Mario, the Toad, Luigi, not Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach, and then eventually Iggy and Lemmy slash Lenny. Hip and Hop. I'll do the cartoon names. Hip and Hop. That's so much easier. And how they have to go after them, and then they want to improve the relationship between them, and talk about how they're Koopas, but they're not bad guys. It's like Zangief in Wreck-It Ralph. You may be a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy. Weird analogy, but it works in this case. And I really, really do like the plot. It's not really a complicated plot because it's a simple kind of romance slash adventure story with Wendy wanting to stand up for herself and Peach and Luigi having to realize what if going through this what have I done moment, not giving Wendy a fair chance because there was a lot of racial tensions between the Toads and the Koopas because Wendy's Bowser's daughter, and so therefore they automatically assume she's evil and want her out as soon as possible. Which we'll get to, and I'll talk about my favorite part later, which is actually related to that. Something on my neck. Character development. I really liked the characters in this story. Wendy was Mario. He's cookie cutter. I mean, you can't go wrong with a classic Mario build, the classic Mario personality. Wendy and Peach are probably the most unique characters in this story because this is Peach that is more wanting to bridge the gap between the Toads and Koopas, but is just kind of disenfranchised over the fact that her Toads could be just as bad as Koopas and completely ignoring them. And Wendy having her grow from the scared little girl at the beginning to a mature woman who's standing up for herself at the end. It's a natural growth that I have to give credence to the author for. All the other characters, they're fine. I really did like I don't know if it was hip or hop. I keep messing them up. Lemmy. I'm gonna go with Lemmy. I'm sorry because I keep messing up the name. I know all the names of the Koopalings except for those two because I have no idea which one's which half the time. Lemmy. We have Lemmy having the samurai code of because of his adventures in America. Because in the Super Mario Brothers cartoon, they went to Earth, and of course, there was an episode. I think it was 7 Continents for 7 Koopas. I think that's what 7 Continents for 7 Koopas. I believe that's the name of the episode. And of course, Lemmy went to Asia. And so he learned about Japan, and he learned about the art of the samurai. And he wanted to keep this. I really like that kid. I really like this version of Lemmy. I think he's probably my favorite. Excuse me. This would have to be my favorite Lemmy personality. But I really did like it. But literally, in terms of characters themselves, the entire story is stolen by Wendy and Peach. Because, in essence, Wendy is kind of the main character in the story, but Peach is just as important. It's Wendy, Peach, and Mario, but he's more connected to Wendy's character than having his own distinct personality. He's still Mario, but he doesn't really contribute anything unique in terms of who Mario is. And of course we have we have Yoshi, we have Toad, we have Luigi. All these characters kind of back up and rate and guide the growth of Wendy and Peach along to where they're ending up, and it's a really nice progression. It's really organic. It's the characters are really developed, not not overly developed, just like not rush it, but it progresses at a steady rate. Grammar error. When the story first came out, there was a lot of grammar errors, but they're pretty much all gone. I think if I remember, it's been a little while since I read the story, and I'm mostly going off memory. I think there's one tiny missed quotation mark, but I think I could be wrong. I can't even remember where it is. Pacing and imagery. I really do like the pacing. I think the way the rate as it goes on, because it's just a shy under 100,000 words, but but there's only 18 chapters, so it progresses very nicely, very fluidly. There's an actual cutoff points of where they are, like when there's a lull, so that way they can pick up again. Um, a pay, the imagery is okay. It's standard imagery fare that associates with third person. Again, I have trouble reading first person stories, and so I can really only really read third person. If someone recommends me a first person, I'll gladly read it. I'll just have to take a little bit. But I really do like the imagery. It's not too complicated, so that way you have a general idea. If you're using imagery to read it, which I use, it's just enough that you can easily fill in the blanks by yourself, but not too vague enough that you're literally making up as you go on. And the pacing again is pretty damn good. The pacing between Mario discovering Wendy, to them going to Yoshi's Island, to them eventually trying to find their way back to the Mushroom Kingdom. Everything about the pacing is really well done. I think besides the characteristic, it's the pacing really excuse me, really contributes to how the story is done. Finally, emotional investment. I really get invested personally with like these really troubled characters because I grew up really, and I'm still living with my mom, and she still treats me like dirt because I'm still having trouble finding a job. I know, don't pity me. Don't I'm not I'm refusing to ask for pity, but it's just how my life ended up. But I fell in love with this Wendy because of that. I fell in love because I sympathize so much with Wendy. It's pretty much the reason why I fell in love with Vivian as a character rather than a partner in Thousand Year Door. It's probably the reason why I love Better Off Alone and Kingdom Beyond Midnight so much, because I sympathize so much with Vivian, and this is the same way. As soon as I found out what Wendy's character was going to be like in this story, I just I want to see her succeed. I wanted to see her happy. I wanted her to have her happy ending. Um, Connection to John. It's an adventure story. Okay, it gives you standard adventure fare, but it's slightly more of a romance story. I really did like the idea of taking these weird pairings and pairing them up, because any pairing, any kind of crossover, any sort of thing, they can be done. It's just you have to know what story you're going to deliver. And I think if in any kind of story with in any kind of plot, this pairing wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. But how the story builds up with how the characters group up and how they develop and how they grow, this pairing can only really fit in a story like this. It could be done. I'll be happy if someone proves me wrong. I'm glad happy if that happens. But it needs. But there's so much you can do with the character you're given. Now, would I recommend this? And favorite part, would I recommend this? This one's kind of hard because Wendy's not. It's more to the fact that not a lot of people are really big fans of Wendy. I mean, if you're a fan, they're probably hard headed. Peach and Mario, all above all else, fanboys. If I would honestly hesitantly recommend it, But more to the fact, I'm just kind of worried that a lot of people who watch this are gonna be just gonna bash the story. I really don't want that to happen because I really do like the story, and I do not want like hard-headed Peach Mario fanboys to trash it because it's like it should be ranked on its merits, not who's in a relationship. Favorite part? It would have to be Peach's speech from, I believe it's Pro Koopa Politics. Yeah, Peach's Pro Koopa Politics, Chapter 16. Literally the first half of Chapter 16. I really love this because Peach's whole character arc is her growing over the fact that she finally needs to learn to be a competent leader. Because of the fact, Bowser keeps kidnapping her. Um, she just turned a blind eye to the Toads beating the crap out of Wendy. She was firmly on the side of the Toads, thinking, oh, she's a Koopa, she's gonna be up to no good. And ever since Luigi, I think in chapter 3, no, I think either chapter 4 or chapter 5, when Luigi tells her, oh, they basically assaulted her and she had to go to the hospital and they refused to give her service, stuff like that. And you have and it kind of culminates in literally the first half of chapter 16, with her telling off the Toads, giving their hands on a silver platter, saying that she's gonna take a car. She's not gonna be Princess Peach because in this story, I believe she becomes Queen Peach because in this story she has parents, and she only didn't become queen because she was convinced that they were still alive. Wouldn't become queen until she found out if they were dead or not, which does happen. They're dead. Spoiler. Um, and everything about Peach's character arc pretty much the entire story. The first half of chapter 16 is encapsulating everything about the plot up to this point. How everything is technically Peach's fault for not paying attention, for not truly being there because she was so worried about her family and the fact that she wanted to care about the Toad safety without thinking, and it was just a overall awesome moment. I also really wanted to give Peach beating the crap out of the tall Koopa with the great spiny green hair, and her beating the crap out of him in an army by using a star. Boom! I honestly wanted to put that part on as my favorite part, but this one was so much better because it was worth everything. Final thoughts. It really does. This story shows a lot of love from the author because there was like a couple, like 2 revisions to the story, and the story was worked on for about 10 years. I think a couple years for like the first draft, and then a couple revisions until it reached 10 years, to the point where the author's like, I can't make it any better, and that's how much love I have for the story. Now, is it on the level of Better Off Alone? I know I keep comparing every single Mario fanfiction to Better Off Alone, but I'll review it sooner or later. That I swear. Not quite on the level of Better Off Alone, but just below it. I absolutely love this story. I honestly wish there was a sequel. I know the author's probably never going to give a sequel, but I really wish the author did a sequel. Mostly for the Peach and Iggy or Lemmy or Lenny's, whatever you want to call them, side of the story, having them improving on their characters and their development together. But I can't complain about anything. I literally cannot complain about anything to do with the story. I really do love the story. And that's pretty much more. I just want to see more of this universe than anything else. So that's my review on The Mysterious Scent by Mushroom Scribe, and I hope I see you next time. when I hopefully try and do a reading, because I want to do another reading because I like those so much. This has been Dark Symphony 777, and